Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Shake Sales. Today I have Fred Diamond from Institute of Excellence in Sales. That's a mouthful and I love it. I think that's a great name. Fred, welcome aboard. For folks that don't know you, would you mind just doing a quick intro about yourself and company?
Sure. I'm the co-founder of the Institute for Excellence in Sales, based in Northern Virginia. The Institute for Excellence in Sales is a center of excellence for corporate sales professionals. We help large companies, typically companies with large sales organizations, create better programs for their women in sales, their sales leaders, their new people in sales. So we're kind of like a professional association. And I appreciate being on your show. I'm also the host and the producer of the Sales Game Changers podcast. And we just surpassed episode number 700.
Wow. We're at close to 100 now. So we're waiting. We're a little bit further behind, but we're getting there. So today we're going to jump into three main topics: preparation, professionalism, and Fred, what's the last one?
Yeah, just basically how sales professionals need to be in the ecosystem of where they sell. You know, one of our big premises, Sujan, is that if you're a sales professional, right, what does a professional do? Professional prepares, professional understands its customer, and a professional is in the market, in the ecosystem from which they're hoping to serve.
Love it. So let's jump in. Let's talk about preparation. What does that mean? What do you do? Like, I mean, it sounds something super simple, but like, what is the actual?
Well, so here's the thing. So you and I were doing this interview in the late summer of 2024, and the world has changed over the last 4 years dramatically. And customers have learned, prospects have learned how to get information on their own. Right? They go to the internet. You know, there's statistics that they're 57% down the road, or they're 70%, depending on who you talk to. And they don't necessarily need a sales professional to explain basic things that they could find either on the internet or through social networks, whatever it might be. So sales professionals need to come to the table with information or ideas that's going to truly be valuable to the customer that they might not have thought about, right? Or that they might have, given a little bit of consideration to. Customers don't need sales professionals anymore if they're not bringing true value. So you need to understand the market. There's plenty of places to research, even ChatGPT. We recently, I know you guys do a lot of work in the AI space. I had a customer at a well-known technology company, a sales VP, who said they were getting ready to do a presentation to a customer in 15 minutes. And just on a whim, they went onto ChatGPT and typed in biggest challenges facing companies in the blank industry, what that industry was. And within seconds, a 10-page answer popped out. Here are the biggest challenges facing customers. And they knew most of them, but there were a couple of them that they hadn't really given consideration to. And they went into the call asking the customer, how is this affecting you? Or we noticed that this is something that is affecting your industry. What are some of your plans? Or we think you might want to try this. One of our other customers has tried this to solve that problem. So you can't just show up. You can't wing it. You can't just show up with the price list and go right to the price. You need to come with some ideas.
And this sounds okay. So what you described is, effective, is how to be an effective salesperson. It is almost sales 101. But here's the caveat. Most people don't do it. Most people just go back to back to back to meetings. They just show up and blab about stuff. Right. And it's one way to do it.
I mean, that's a great point. It's like, there's, again, I want to emphasize the word professional, right? And a professional, remember during the pandemic, we used to say, what are you doing as a sales professional? In the very beginning, you couldn't talk to customers, but we use the analogy, if you're a professional golfer, right? You're out on the tee. tee box, for 4 hours, and then you're on the putting green for 2 hours, and then you're chipping for 2 hours. That is what a professional does. For the people who are successful in sales now, it's not about charisma. It's not about showing up, and we say showing up and throwing up, to use the analogy that you just used a second ago, Sujan. But it's like, the customer, the reality is prospects, customers don't need you if you're not helping them achieve their goals. And the one commonality that every customer that we're ever going to talk to has is that they have their mission to solve, right? They have to grow revenue. They have to increase productivity. They have to put in better systems. And if you're just showing up and talking about your solution without the context of that, you're toast. You're gone.
Absolutely. I think the challenge in 2024 is, well, there's a lot more options of things to buy. People are cost conscious, and frankly, they want to know not just like what your solution does. They're not like, oh, I need an email tool. They want to know how this backs to revenue, right? So you really need to understand their problem and really speak to that, right? And like, so for example, we're an email tool. If I wanted to talk about, if I'm talking to a salesperson that's like, they're having a problem with revenue. It's like performance. We need to figure out how to grow. My pitch would be, look, everything starts with conversations and emails and phones. If you get a better connect rate, you get a better open and reply rate, all that will trickle down into more leads, more it just like, I would show the math on this. Imagine you have 10% better open rates. This is how many more leads and how much revenue you'd have. And so, again, that's an example that's simple. What can you do to tie back to that customer's problem? What are the other things? So, so I think we touched on like, a little bit of the like prep, right? So, and then really prep with how to be a professional. Is there anything else, on those two topics?
Yeah, well, I love the answer that you just gave a second ago, and I think the Mailshake solution is tremendous in helping with the connections to get the conversations. We talk all the time that sales is really about the next conversation, right? I'll give you an example. I was talking to a VP of sales at a well-known company, located not too far from where you're based, and she said she was in a meeting with two of her sales reps and three customers. It was over Zoom or some type of web interface, and she said the customer got on the call. They've been working to this to get them on the call, and the customer talked for about 10 minutes about some challenges that they were facing, right? And at the 10-minute mark, she said one of her sales reps went right to the close. He said, well, we got a great solution for that. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you 10% off, to go to and our licensing, blah, blah, blah. And he went right to the proposal, right to the close. And the sales rep, who is a 25-year veteran of, enterprise professional sales, said that she was cringing, said she couldn't believe it. She said her reps who are trained, didn't ask a question, and the customer was looking at them dumbfounded, like, I didn't ask for a price. I know what you guys offer. Ask me a question. Give me some context there. So the other thing related to the professionalism is, you're a sales professional. It's not just prep, but if you're a professional, you need to understand what the customer is going through, and you need to demonstrate for them that you understand their problems. And one of the key ways to do this is by asking great questions. And they're not ridiculous questions like, what keeps you up at night? That's so 1980s. Or what is your pain? Well, you better know my pain before we get on this call. The question should be, hey, I heard about this new regulation. How is that going to be affecting your go-to-market strategy, or whatever it might be?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that's a very key point. So, I want to end on that note, because I think I guarantee you, these are all things, if you're listening to this, mistakes you're making, at least on one demo, one call this week, go fix it. Stop doing anything else. You fix these core things, and you're gonna be like, oh, I close more deals. Just because most people are getting the basics wrong. Because like, you think after doing something for years, you know it, but practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect, right? So you got to do it the right way. So let's do it. And so Fred, where can folks go to follow along? And where's your, what's the name of your podcast?
Yeah, I'm up on LinkedIn. You could find me, Fred Diamond. The podcast is called the Sales Game Changers Podcast. We also published a book, Insights for Sales Game Changers. And just last thing is I want to just acknowledge you, Sujan, for the success that Mailshake has had. I was honored when you reached out to me because I've been aware of your solution for a long time. We have a customer or two who I know is using it. So it's good. I hope that people are taking looks at it. And I hope that, 9 years you've been doing this. I hope you continue to have success and that you help sales professionals continue to get meetings and get opens increased so that they can have those conversations that they need.
Appreciate that. Thank you.